You've been working with these 3 shapes. Do you know their names? And they would tell me their names. And what I might do if I wanted to have my children practice some reading skills, I would give them little tickets with the name of the shape and have them match the shape names. So we have the triangle, the square, and the circle. Now, you know the names of all of these shapes, but how would we describe these shapes to someone who had never heard of this shape before? Imagine your friend has never seen or heard of a triangle, a square, or a circle. How could we describe each of these shapes so that your friend could know what you were talking about? Let's start with the triangle. What kind of words can we use to describe this triangle that makes it different or special from the square or the circle? And together we will come up with that it has 3 sides. And then I might have to point them inside and say, now, I see these are little corners right here. How many corners does a triangle have? It has 3 corners. And at this point, you can decide if you want to give your students the geometry vocabulary of vertex, and all together they are called vertices. So a triangle has 3 vertices. Now, let's do the same thing with the square. What can we say about the square that would help our friend know what we were talking about? Well, we've got, 4 sides. And let's look inside. I see how many corners? 4 corners, or 4 vertices. Now I'm going to stop here and jump into that second period of the lesson. This is the show me phase. I've introduced 2 shapes, so I want to check in and see that they're understanding. See if they can show me a shape that I ask for based on the definition that we have given them. I finished with the square, so I'm going to ask for this one first. I'm going to say, can you show me a shape that has 4 sides and 4 vertices? Yes, the square. Can you show me a shape that has 3 sides and 3 vertices? Ah, the triangle, yes. Now let's find a definition for the circle. How can you describe the circle? Most likely, you are going to get the standard definition from your students. 0 sides and 0 corners. And because this is the standard definition, we can accept this. This is true. If you have kindergartners in your group for this lesson, you may want to simply stick with this definition. However, if you have an older student or a middle student that has maybe seen this lesson in its basic form before, you might want to push on to that definition of the infinite corners and infinite sides. This is true that a circle has 0 sides and 0 corners, but it's also true that we can say that it has infinite sides and infinite corners. We have this circle. If I compare it to our octagon, can you see how the side is shrinking the space between the edge of the circle? The octagon is getting closer to being round like the circle. Let's try our decagon. Oh, look at that. The space is even smaller. What if I had a 12-sided shape or a 96-sided shape? At some point, there would be so many sides and so many corners that it would become smooth, just like the circle. I can always add one more line, one more edge. I can always add another corner. So we can say this circle is like an infinite number of sides and an infinite number of corners. Infinite sides, infinite corners. Just as a note, you may get a definition from a student that says a circle has 1 side. This is another way to describe a circle. To look at a circle is that it has this one line that creates that circle. So maybe you get a definition from a student that says 1 side and 0 corners, and that's okay too. Let's add the vocabulary word vertices to our infinite definition. Now we are entering the second show me period. We jumped into the second period briefly after introducing the first two shapes to check for understanding. Now that we've introduced all the shapes in this lesson, we will leave the first period of naming and enter the second period to solidify the learning with a few games of engagement and recall. I will start with the circle because we just finished defining the circle and it is the freshest in the memory. Show me a shape that has infinite sides and infinite vertices. Yes, the circle. Show me a shape that has 3 sides and 3 vertices. The triangle, yes. Show me a shape that has 4 sides and 4 vertices. Yes. Now let's play a game. Give your friend a shape that has 4 sides and 4 vertices. And they'll give their friend a shape that has 4 sides and 4 vertices. Now, if you only have one child you're giving this lesson to, you can just say, give me a shape that has 4 sides and 4 vertices. Give your friend a shape that has infinite sides and infinite vertices. And they give that to their friend. Give your friend a shape that has 3 sides and 3 vertices. Now, who has the shape that has 3 sides and 3 vertices? And that child would give that shape. Who has a shape with 4 sides and 4 vertices? The square. Who has a shape that has infinite sides and infinite vertices? Yes, the circle. Now I could, for the circle, switch up these definitions. I really want to drive home the infinite view of the circle. And I am using vertices. I'm using this vocabulary because I want to drive that home. So you can adjust this to the children that you're giving the lesson to. Now let's go to the third period where we're going to wrap up the lesson. This is the what is period. And this is where we're going to assess our students' learning during this lesson. Close your eyes. When you open them, I'm going to ask you to tell me which shape is missing. What shape is missing? The square? Okay. What do you mean by the square? Oh, a shape that has 4 sides and 4 vertices? Yes, that is the missing shape. Close your eyes again. Open your eyes. What shape is missing? Yes, a shape that has 3 sides and 3 vertices. It's the triangle. Close your eyes again. Open your eyes. What shape is missing? Yes, the circle. And yes, it has infinite sides and infinite vertices. This game of a missing shape requires children to tell you what is missing. You are no longer using the words to describe the shape and having them just simply indicate the shape. You are asking them to give you the full definition and the name for that shape. Lastly, I'm just going to ask them to tell me what each shape is. What is this? And I'll wait for their response, the name and our definition. What is this? What is this?